Today we are looking at 5 ways to use social media to choose a college if you're going to be a business major. Now, sometimes people choose business because they don't really know what they want to do, and it seems like a good general degree that they could use pretty much anywhere. And that is very true. However, some people choose business because they have a very clear-cut idea of where they want to work, and this is going to give them the skills to work there in management or a leadership position, or perhaps even start their own business. Whatever your reasons for choosing business, I hope that this PowerPoint is really helpful to you as you start to think outside the box a little bit about how to choose the right college for you. Now, I am just a fly on the desk providing unsolicited ideas. You may agree or disagree with what I'm about to present to you, but hear me out for a minute. I am not a huge fan of choosing a college based on ranking. And the reason that is because a high-ranked school is ranked based on information that may or may not apply to you. So when you choose, for example, a college based on ranking for a business major, you are choosing a college where you're going to be at the whim of the professors and whatever they are funded to research or what partnerships they have with industry. So you may choose the top-ranked school and think that that was the best choice for you because it's going to give you the most employment options when you graduate. But what if your business school is funded by extra funds from the banking industry in that community, and all of your coursework is really about business as it relates to banking, or all of your internships are in banks? If you have no interest in banking or banks, that's really gonna set you up for potentially working in the banking industry when you had no interest. Or let's say that you choose a business school at a college that's located in an agricultural area. All of your business classes may have some sort of focus on business as it relates to the ag industry. And you may find yourself doing internships and research studies and having guest speakers all related to the business industry of agriculture. And again, that's not bad, but when we're choosing a job, a future, a career, we want to make sure that we are giving 24% of our week when we're working Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, or whatever your schedule ends up being, to someone who is worthy of our time. And who is worthy of our time is someone who we would maybe be giving our time to for free because we care so passionately about where we're working. So if you're going to be a business major, one of the things I really want you to understand is business can happen in any industry. Any industry. And so it's so important that if you're going to go to school for 4 years to study business, that you are actually finding professors and internships and class examples and experience that matches where you would naturally be spending your time already. So that's why I love this model of using social media to help you pick a college for your business major. And again, as a parent, a college counselor, or a student, you may or may not agree with me. And as the fly on the desk, you may want to swap me away as quickly as possible because you're just going to go with your top ranked schools and call it good, and you'll work wherever the best job opportunity pops up. But as a career educator, I really think it's important that we find a job in an industry that we also care about and are passionate about. So I'm going to show you 5 ways to use social media to choose a college with a business major. So again, if you're a parent, college counselor, you may not understand what teens are doing on their phone and you think it's a pointless waste of time, but I love having conversations with teens about things like what is on your For You page on your TikTok. Now, if you're not familiar with how TikTok works, it develops an algorithm to show you more of what you're already watching. That means your teens are choosing to watch content, self-initiated, no one's asking them to do this. This is how they're spending their free time. What kind of content are they watching? That can be a huge clue about their passions and their interest. So for example, if they are watching lots of content about roller coasters, people going on roller coasters, roller coaster accidents, things about amusement parks, Did you know they can literally go study business at Bowling Green State University? Now, this program is so cool. Imagine being able to go to school half of your day in the amusement park and half of your day in the classroom. Like, okay, maybe some of you parents are thinking, oh my gosh, I am not sending my kid off to college to be a carny. And I don't want them sitting there like smoking and, staying out late at night and running carnival games. Like, that's not what I'm talking about, okay? Whatever our vision of a carny is, or whatever our vision of working in a theme park might be, that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the upper level management of who is running theme parks. These are very well paid people who have to ensure the safety and positive experience of all the guests. So, for example, think about Disney. Disney is a great model of what is out there, right? When we think of a theme park experience, and it's super expensive to go there because they create a magical experience. This program is literally run in a theme park. I believe they're associated with the Knott's franchise, if I'm not mistaken. But instead of taking random management classes and thinking of hypotheticals or management for like a hospital or management in a factory, your students are going to learn about management in a theme park. Instead of taking random classes about risk management, they're going to be thinking about, oh my gosh, what if someone falls off this roller coaster? And the classes start to come alive for them if thinking about like roller coasters is their thing, right? Or when they're taking a class about merch and merchandising and whatnot, like they can think about walking through the theme park and how to sell that to people. Like rides are strategically placed where you walk through the gift store and exit through the gift store, right? Because they want you to buy, and people love merch. And so your students can get really excited about marketing and merchandising when they connect it to a passion they have. That may be harder to do in a random class about merchandising where we're just using lots of hypotheticals and we're talking about, making merch for an energy drink, or we're making merch for something like a dentist office, right? Like that may not seem as exciting, but when we're thinking about a theme park, it really comes to life. So this degree looks awesome. I highly suggest looking into it, and I think your students are gonna love it. If they do end up doing a general business degree somewhere, there's also a program called Disney College program, I believe, that you can apply for a summer internship, which is also super cool. All right, today we are also talking about what do you watch on YouTube? So a lot of teens do not watch YouTube. It's long form content. They prefer short content on things like TikTok. But if they are going for long-term content, they're looking for longer things that may be 10 or more minutes. And again, that's a deliberate search that they might be doing on YouTube. Like they want to sit down and watch something. So for example, if they're pulling up content related to cars and car races, have they ever considered a bachelor's degree in motorsport management? This is going to give them experience learning about motorsports and how to manage it. So not just the track, but anything that touches cars, right? So maybe they're going to work for a tire company. Maybe they're going to work for fiberglass. Maybe they're going to work for a customization company. Maybe they're going to work for NASCAR. Maybe they're going to work for something where it's like related to promotions and sponsorships. So there's so many different companies that touch this. But if this is their passion and this is their interest, business is going to totally come to life for them, right? So a lot of parents at this point argue, like, this seems so specific, and what if they end up not wanting to work in motorsports? Granted, I get that. But also think about the flip side. If you take a general business program, you're touching lots of areas, and then when you go to apply for a job in a very niche area, you might not get the job compared to someone who has experience in that niche, right? So a general business degree can be just as dangerous. So I think that it's okay to specialize in something, and then if you decide to change industries later, you still know all the business concepts, right? So there's a flip side. Like, you might be able to get into industry quicker, whereas the other people don't have as much experience if they do a general business degree. But then if you end up changing your niche and you don't want to do that anymore, you might have to work a little bit harder to learn about some general business, and overcompensate for more of a breadth of knowledge, right? So there isn't a right way to do it, but if your students do have a deep-seated passion in something, I think these are amazing opportunities. So the next thing that you can do when you're thinking about business is look at your Instagram. What are you following? So if your students use Instagram, ask to see what they follow. If they're following things like sports, no matter what sport it is, it could be basketball, football, baseball, hockey, soccer, whatever, I highly suggest looking at the University of Oregon. While there are lots of other colleges that have bachelors in sports business, I think University of Oregon is a very unique place to attend because they have an amazing master's program, world renowned, and they have something called the Warsaw Sports Business Center, and you get to be a part of that as an undergrad. Now, they do give you a general business degree, and this is a sports business concentration. And what that means is you're just taking fewer classes than you would in sports business than if you were actually getting a bachelor's in sports business, right? So it's kind of like a business degree with a minor almost. Like, that means fewer classes. And so it's great. There's lots of other programs out there at the bachelor's level that are going to give you more sports business classes, but I think University of Oregon is situated in such that eventually they will offer this as a full bachelor's of sports business, and give you even more classes related to sports business. But you're going to get to be around that master's program. You're going to get to be around industry. They have huge partnerships there with Nike. They have a footwear engineering program on site. There's just so much exciting stuff related to sports coming out of University of Oregon that what a great place to go. Look at their career fair, look at who they're partnering with, look at where some of their placements have been for internships and degrees. And if your students want to work in the world of sports, this is going to get them there way quicker than potentially going to a top-ranked business school and then trying to cross over into the world of sports. So just something to consider. All right, our next one is what is in your pictures on Snapchat. So if your students are on Snapchat, ask to see some of their posts and what might show up. Let's say they're taking lots of pictures of music and their friends playing music and their instruments, themselves playing music. Maybe they don't want to major in music, or you've discouraged that because you don't want them to be a starving artist. Well, they can definitely think about majoring in music business. Now, this university is located in Tennessee, and so obviously it's going to be a little bit more focused on country music, perhaps, but other music areas as well. This is also a Christian university, and so there may be a focus and partnership in relation to that as well. But there are so many different programs nationwide related to the music business. This is not necessarily asking your student, again, to be a performer. This is having them work in the business. This doesn't mean that they have to be someone's agent, so don't panic, parents. We're not setting them up for a job that is super slim and hard to get into. We're helping them work at huge companies like Spotify. We're helping them work at companies like Pandora. We're helping them work at places like Apple Music. We're helping them work at big record companies. We're preparing them to work at radio stations, all on the business side, right? Maybe even getting into copyright and working for the U.S. Copyright Office, right? So there's so many different things related to the world of music as it relates to business. And so I hope that you'll be open-minded and look at this. I think that a bachelor's in music business should be done in a city that is known for music. So your LA, New York, Tennessee, like those types of places where music industries are prevalent, because they're going to be able to get internships and partner with industry a lot more quickly than if they were located in the middle of nowhere. So just my 2 cents on that. All right, lastly, number 5, what do you make videos about? If your student loves to make their own content on social media, what is it that they're making videos about? Let's say your student is always posting videos about dogs that are up for adoption, perhaps that they love their furry friends, and maybe they want to help them get adopted, so they've been going and making videos. Maybe they're making videos about volunteering in the community or a cause like climate change. Well, they can definitely consider majoring in nonprofit leadership and management. Again, please do not panic, parents. A lot of parents, even educated parents, assume that there is no money in nonprofit management. I know people that work at nonprofits that make $300,000 a year. Yeah, crazy, right? Nonprofits are all funded different ways. There are foundations where people are making a ton of money, more than they would in corporate. There are government-based or government-funded nonprofits. There are nonprofits run by grants. There are nonprofits run by donorship, sponsorship, fundraising. There's so many different ways that nonprofits are funded. Working for a nonprofit does not mean that you do not get paid. It just depends on how they structure the nonprofit, where the funding comes from, that determines how much staff gets paid. But if your student has a heart to serve, if they're passionate about certain ideas, causes, there's a great website called Idea List, and you can visit it and search for nonprofit management positions and see what I'm talking about, where you will find some that pay $30,000 a year, and then you will see some that pay $300,000 a year. But if your student is interested in getting their feet wet in how to run a business from a nonprofit standpoint, or maybe even start their own, definitely check out the program at Arizona State University. There are many others to check out as well nationwide, but business practices also apply to nonprofits, but with a tweak, and this would be a great way for them to get a job in this area, opposed to doing a standard business degree where the rules are very different. They're going to understand so much more looking at a nonprofit structure and leadership concept if they actually specialize in this area. So I hope this was helpful, and next time you see a teen on their phone, don't assume they're doing something that does not matter. Instead, have a conversation with them, engage with them, find out what they're doing, because it could be a huge clue about a college major, a career, a passion, a side hustle, or something else that they may be interested in, that they may want to do and pursue for the rest of their lives. When we work, we give an employer 24% of our week. Maybe if we start paying attention to how we spend our free time, we can better understand what we want to be doing for a paycheck. So I am the fly on the desk. You may disagree, you may like what I have to say, doesn't matter. These are just my 2 cents and my unsolicited ideas, and I hope that you enjoy your day. Feel free to send me an email if you would like to solicit my ideas, and I'd be happy to feature your question on one of our upcoming videos.